Success and failure. Again? Yes, again. Because we are very stubborn about those issues. So let's look at this maybe a little perspective now. Make it a short one, but it's a little different perspective. How much here, Lavyan, for example, you? How much of your ideas are really your ideas rather than ideas that were planted into your head? How many ideas have you generated on your own, raw, new material, rather than something that was into your head? None. None. It's kind of scary to think that 100% of your thoughts are not really yours. 100% of your ideas in your head are not yours. They're not. So how are you going to tell me what defines you as a success? What defines you as being a lucky person? What defines you as a failure? Not your ideas, somebody else's ideas. And we all play along with this game. Because it's convenient to us, because we deliberately do not want to think. When society tells you, if you have that, you become successful. You live the American dream. Like those people who took triple mortgages on their houses when they couldn't afford even one. And they defaulted on their mortgages and so on and so forth. Why? Because it was a dream. And the dream was, of course, allowed to have by big government. They don't really care about you. So when you define yourself as a success, that's according to somebody else's standards that you are dancing to. And if you're already defining yourself by somebody else's ideas, so why won't you define yourself already according to the Torah's ideas? I mean, after all, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from you, isn't it? Let me explain to you. When you call yourself a success or a failure, that's not being determined by other people, but rather by yourself. So if you think that you are a failure, let's look. What will constitute somebody to be a failure?
Messing up everything you do, not doing everything properly.
Yeah. Messing up everything you do, not doing things properly. Good. What's doing things properly? According to whom?
According to whatever your definition properly.
According to everybody else.
Yeah.
Because what could be a success in this country will be a failure in a different country. So I can go here, become an absolute success, and go somewhere else to a different community or different society, and could be considered to be the ultimate failure. When I was taking multicultural counseling, I came across a very interesting story about this Native American, a Navajo Native American. He was a successful lawyer. He was making a lot of money. However, among his people, he was considered to be a failure. Why was he considered to be a failure? Because his father was a shaman. His father was a medicine man, and a very strong, powerful medicine man. His father did not make in his lifetime what his son made in a year. However, by his people, he was considered to be a very successful man. The son was considered to be a failure because he left and abandoned everything that he had. So before you're going to classify yourself as a success or a failure, and especially if you classify yourself as a failure, all you need to do to become a success, let's say you say, I'm a failure. All you need to do to classify yourself as a success is simply to do one thing, is what? Change your perspective. Change your perspective of what defines you as a success or what defines you as a failure. If a person has $50 million in a bank, and he doesn't talk to 2 out of 3 kids, is he a successful man or not? Is he?
No.
He's a failure, right? Why is he a failure? Because if you would ask him, are you willing to give up your $50 million for the life of your kid? What would you want? $50 million or the life of your kid? He will say, oh, take the $50 million, give me my kid. All right? So ultimately, what is important to him is his kid, not the money. So regardless of how much money he had, if he has no relationship with his kid, he's a failure. Yet everybody will tell you he's a success story. He went from scratch to $50 million. So don't fall into this trap, and don't take jobs who will give you a successful career. Define your success and failure according to the values of the Torah. Become an honest man. Yes, okay, so you can't do business as an honest man, so don't be a businessman. Become an honest man. Pursue justice. Do something that will give nachat beinei Elokim. We said, lasot nachat beinei Elokim ve'adam. First, you need to make sure that what you do is considered to be a success and the right thing in the eyes of God. Then you need to think about man. First of all, God. So when I finish with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to me, okay, you done, okay, you beseder, you did exactly what I do, I like everything you do. When I finish with this, I'll do what humans want me to do, and how they want me to live my life. But don't forget, it's always somebody wants you to live your life the way they want you. But you never live it yourself. The problem is, you never bother to really see what it is. You're too afraid to say, this is what I want for my life. You are simply too afraid. And because you're afraid, you're going to fail. Have a nice day.